Back to it. It's Hail Varsity Radio. It's Nebraska Day here, day 2. Lucas Oil Stadium. Ethan Piper with us, part of the Husker offensive line. Chris Schmidty, Elijah Hurrdat. Ethan, thanks for making time. How's the Indianapolis experience been?
It's been great. I didn't know what to expect coming out here, and it's far exceeded my expectations. Just the atmosphere out here with all the players and coaches. So it's been awesome.
It's a pretty fun setup here on the field, and you've been able to absorb all of the duties, but it sounds like you've been able to have some fun with it as well.
Yeah, it's been a mixture of hard-hitting questions and a mixture of lighthearted questions. It's been a lot of fun. It was not as serious as I ever thought it was going to be. It's just nice, lighthearted conversations. Well,
we'll try and keep that mixture going.
Yeah.
So just tell me where you're at personally with your growth and your involvement on the O-line as a guy who's been in the program for a while. How do you think the offseason's been for you? And, let's touch on that offensive line room and just, where can you guys go?
Offseason for me, I think, especially with the coaching staff, it's been kind of like a breath of fresh air, just getting started, mixing the pot a little bit. And it's giving us an opportunity to kind of rearrange the order of how we think of each other, just for the fact that the coaches have no idea who you are. And you could portray something completely different than you were last year. And I think a lot of guys have really taken that opportunity to renew themselves of working hard, doing things the right way. But as an offensive line, I think we've really taken the opportunity, especially with Coach Raiola staying with us, of being the foundation of that offense and the team of these guys that show up together, go to work together, always on time, never late. Setting the standard for the rest of the team has been what we do as an offensive line.
Was that something that was kind of inside some of the linemen, you and guys that have been in the program, where you wanted to kind of be the pace car since we're in Indy? Or is it something that was suggested and then reinforced by the coaching staff?
No, it was a mixture of both. We get, as guys, the battles for every football game is one up front. If we're not doing our job, we can't function as a team. And especially Coach Raiola, his brother played one of the greatest offensive linemen to play at Nebraska. He knew what it meant to play at Nebraska, as what the culture was here and what it meant to be a Nebraska offensive lineman. So he kind of guided us, like you
Dominic.
said. Yeah, like the pace car you were saying, being setting the standard in everything you do, whether that be football, academics, your community service life, being the best person you can be. And we took, as an offensive line, we took that identity and just ran with it. So.
It's Ethan Piper, Husker offensive lineman, with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. And Ethan, take us behind the scenes on what it's like to play under Coach Raiola, because we talked with Jeff Sims earlier, and he said he's the first guy to get on you if you make a mistake, but he's the first guy to pick you right back up. And we don't get to hear all that much from Raiola, because he's not the guy that's going to get up in front of the media and make all these bold statements. He's soft-spoken when he's in front of the media. So I want to get your take on what it's like to play under Coach Raiola and just what day-to-day life is like with him.
So, playing under Coach Raiola, the best way I would describe it is, if you ever watch, one of the most inspiring movie films of a man that knows, they're going to make a documentary of him someday, it'd be somebody like Coach Raiola. Just the way his work ethic, the way he, like I said, composes, very soft-spoken guy. He won't say anything that he doesn't mean. And just a very high-character man that we have at Nebraska, and just playing underneath of him, all those qualities of him make him, it's so easy to play for him, and being able to go the extra mile, watch the extra hour of film, take a couple extra sets after practice, being able to do a couple reps in the weight room after a game or something. But and that just leads to greatness, those extra reps, getting that 1% better every single day.
Ethan,
Ethan Piper joining us. Go ahead,
Ethan,
Elijah,
you're
sorry.
rocking a new haircut here. I got to ask, is Coach Raiola the one that convinced you to get that haircut? You guys look like twins.
No. So usually before fall camp, especially as an offensive lineman, I think there's a tradition kind of picking up because we used to shave our head, but individually as players. But like I think as an offensive line, we've been trying to shave our heads just for the fact that, at least for me, it means that like you don't worry about like what you look like. You don't have to do your hair look pretty.
You're locked in.
Yeah, you're locked in. You wake up and you're ready to go, and it just makes it easier for you to come to work and not worry about all the extra pretty stuff. So.
Well, the O-line and the pretty part is on 3rd and 2 when it's when it's a first down, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's the smash mouth part. Ethan Piper's with us on Hail Varsity Radio. What have you been able to take from Coach Rhule as he's taken the reins of the program?
The one thing that I always say, the first thing that when you say the word or mention Coach Rhule's name, I think of a man that's very passionate about everything he does. He's a man that wears his heart on his sleeve. You have no doubt what he stands for and what he wants to accomplish here. And he makes it very apparent. I don't know if you ever follow him on Twitter, but
yep.
Yeah. But like you see all the stuff he's always talking about, and it's very easy. Like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what he's trying to create here at Nebraska. And for me, just to be a part of that, being a situation to be a key part of that whole process, I've loved every second part of it because I know something special is brewing here at Nebraska.
So he's been able to motivate you
all the time. Like he's a guy that I said it since day one. Like he knows the right things to say. He knows he's a guy that builds the most quality relationships, and he knows what how you tick, and he'll say something exactly what you need to hear in the moment, whether that makes you mad or whatever. He'll get you motivated to play the next step or go the extra mile.
Ethan, what does it mean to you as a Nebraska kid that Coach Rhule selected you to represent, I should say, not just the offensive line, but the team and the state as a whole in Indianapolis? What does that mean to you?
No, it means a lot. When he told me, I'm like, "Are you sure you want to bring me?" I'm like, I'm not a pretty in front of those cameras, but it just meant it showed me how he thought of me on the team of being able to represent one of the people to represent the team is a huge accomplishment and a huge responsibility to understand what your role is on this team of just saying, how do I use this as a positive impact right now and then especially after this whole ordeal. So, again, I've been extremely honored. It's been a phenomenal experience just coming out here to Indy.
Ethan Piper with us, Hail Varsity Radio. A couple more minutes with Ethan as Nebraska here in Indianapolis. There's a lot of options, which is great from a depth standpoint on the offensive line. That said, guys want that starting spot. So how do you envision this fall camp going? And as you get ready for Minnesota, you got to be a good teammate, but you also want that spot to be locked down. How's the offensive line room when it comes to support with one another?
Yeah, so especially when I get this question, everyone thinks that you're always looking at the guy is this guy going to take it over me? The biggest thing that you could do going into camp, you just focus on yourself. You focus on your game and your game alone. And the rest is you do your job, and then if you do the right things, and if you focus on the if you're just focusing on your set, you're focusing on your takeoff, all this stuff, when it comes to that game, you'll be put in and you'll be able to do it the right way because you've been focusing on the right things. If you start focusing on the other things of looking at competition, which is good, but at the same time, that's not who your biggest competitor is yourself every single day. So,
Ethan, I love that mindset of focusing on yourself, and I want to ask you how you focused on yourself and improving your game this offseason. I've noticed from afar your body type looks a little bit different. I think you've been putting in some work with the strength and conditioning staff. So just tell us about that. What was the offseason work like for you?
Kind of funny. I remember going into winter conditioning, and every single time I watched the Rocky movies before going.
Just all of them?
Yeah, I watched. I would watch one, go work out. Watch the second one, go work out.
Okay.
And kind of that mindset of I don't know. I the Rocky movies get me going, and I was you want to become the heavyweight champion, kind of that mindset of me versus the world, and I think that kind of translated to the weight room and being able, like I said, just focusing on what you could do better. So
I got to follow up with the Rocky. So You've got the running the streets of Philadelphia in Rocky 1. In Rocky 2, kind of the same training. He conquers Apollo. Rocky 3, he gets lazy and then has to go to Apollo's run-down inner-city gym and get that Eye of the Tiger back. And then you got to go train on a mountaintop in Russia for Rocky 4.
Yeah.
That's as far as I go with Rocky.
Yeah.
So what's the best training setup? Which Rocky training setup is your favorite?
My favorite one is when he gets out of the third one when he's running on the beach and he goes to that old grimy gym.
Yeah,
and I love that because it's it really
I'm gonna die. I'm in inner city.
Yeah,
LA.
but it shows you that it doesn't the only thing that's motivating you to be there is your love for the game. And if you could train and be a complete just jacked pan that's in shape, that means that your love for the game is so great, and that that itself is going to beat anybody else that's going to be so focused on whether the facilities are nice and stuff. So
will you be watching Rocky 4, that training scene in Russia, essentially in Siberia, before some November night games in the Big Ten?
Oh, probably. I'll be watching Rocky. That's I just watch Rocky on repeat. So probably that would be. It'd be like one of the. It would be like an Iowa Drago.
Yeah, that's it. There's gonna be 700 pounds of beat up boulders down at the stadium.
Yeah.
Last thought. What can you, from a hint standpoint, what's the offense going to look like?
Honestly, how I would answer, I don't know, because it's so hard to tell. Especially this early. You have spring ball, but spring ball is its own thing. Is this again? You just focus on what you need to get better. Fall camps when you really start putting in man, we got Minnesota.
Here's install.
Yeah, all this stuff. But what I want, I always been telling the guys, what I want for us to be able to look like as an offense is you come back from the grocery store or something and you just turn on the game in the middle of the third quarter, second quarter, the fourth quarter, and that snap that you watch is as intense as the first snap of the game.
Okay.
So that's what I want as an offense.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's consistency throughout, right?
Yep.
Ethan Piper. Ethan, good to see you again. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.